There is one miniature that I had completely missed. It is probably the dumbest and most cursed miniature in Games Workshop history. It's not Nagash, it's not the female Marines, and it's not the orc cheerleader. It is something much, much worse. And today, we're gonna tell you the story about it, and later, paint up the most cursed miniature in Warhammer. Games Workshop, the company known for making awesome looking miniatures, and in the 90s staying in the forefront of metal cast miniatures, and in the 2000s being the best one for plastic minis. At least that's what we've been made to believe. Because in June 1990, in White Dwarf number 126, Games Workshop presented to the world the Imperial Knights for their game Epic, or as it was called back then, Space Marine, based in the 40k universe. A monumental historical happening that now feels like it was truly meant to be. Because once you've looked at the Imperial Knights on a gaming table, you feel like you wouldn't want to play a game that doesn't have these massive features in them. But there is something else included in this number, heck, even on the same page as the Imperial Knights, that Games Workshop wished that we had forgotten about. But not us, we're gonna show it to everyone. You guys know it already, but alongside the Imperial Knights, there's a few other factions that have similar things, like the Mega Gargant with the Orcs, but also the Eldar has the Phantom Titan, and the Wraith Knight and the Wraith Lord. And in that number, 3 Eldar Knights were introduced. Some of them look pretty freaking cool, like the Fire Gale that is quite similar to the Wraith Knight, or the Towering Destroyer, which is just a massive Eldar Knight. And as a concept, the Eldar Knights, alongside with the Imperial Knights, is something really cool. Just listen to this. The Eldar Knights are most commonly used by the Exodite populations to defend their home worlds. They are complex machines made of psychoplastic known as Wraithbone. Similarly to the Imperial Titans, the Eldar Knight suits are controlled by direct mind link between the pilot and the machine. However, there is one major thing that differs the Imperial and Eldar Titans, as they also contain a Spirit Stone, which supplies the machine with a personality as well as a way for the Eldar pilot to avoid having their souls consumed by Slanesh should they fall in battle. And these Spirit Stones of the Eldar Knights are often ancient artifacts from before the fall. Sounds like all of these should be the coolest miniatures in the Eldar line. But there's a dark horse among these. As I said, there were 3 knights introduced, and I've only talked about 2 of them. And the third one, it is Bright Stallion.
Disappointment.
You have to remember, at these times in the 40k universe, the Eldar were pretty much just high elves in the future. And all elves need ponies, right? Well, there's just the problem that this is the weirdest, ugliest freaking miniature in Warhammer history. The My Little Pony looking 4-legged Bright Stallion can outpace pretty much any Imperial Knight. It's armed with a potent psychic lance and small infantry weapons. And despite its speed, the Bright Stallion is rugged and quite heavily armored, especially for an Elder machine. And despite all these amazing traits that make the miniature sound amazing, it is so freaking ugly. It looks so cursed. I do not know what to do with myself when I look at this mini. And to make things better, they made 2 versions of it. 2 freaking versions of this shit. What the hell?
That means somebody at Games Workshop thought like, hey, this is a cool design, let's make 2 of it.
I think it's made by Jess Goodwin, which is kind of funny because he's like the sculptor from the 80s and 90s. Like he made pretty much the entire Eldar line what it is. He made the old original wood elves, what they are. And then he made...
And then he got fired.
And then he's still working at Games Workshop. Like he's a genius. But if you make, 5,000 minis, maybe one of them, it's gonna be a bit funky. But the story of the Bright Stallion doesn't end with this epic / Space Marine / Adeptus Titanicus miniature that was released early 90s. No, there is way more fun stuff to this story. But first, we gotta give this original one a 2024 awesome paint job. And while it gets painted, let's talk about this week's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is an amazing platform if you want to build your own website. Whether it is for your wedding photography service or your own product, or maybe you're selling a book online, Squarespace has you covered with their amazing looking, award-winning templates. You don't need any previous knowledge of how to program and design a website. Squarespace will follow you, hold your hand as you design the website. And pretty much everything is drag and drop. A great example for this is our website, where we, as we've mentioned, put up all of the stuff that we use in videos by literally just dragging and dropping stuff to our website. We also have our web store hosted by Squarespace, and everything runs super smoothly. Right now, it's completely free to try out Squarespace. All you gotta do is follow the link down below, and when you're ready to launch that website that you've designed yourself, you can use the code Squidmar to get 10% off your entire purchase of a website or a domain, and you'll be up and running with the website in no time. So, as we've established by now, this miniature was released in 1990 and released for Epic. I was a measly 3-year-old, and Lucas, well, this miniature is 10 years older than Lucas. How about that? But there was another revisit to this miniature, and that was to bring the small Epic miniature into 32mm scale and make a massive Bright Stallion Knight. But as Armorcast were working on making other 32mm versions for other Epic minis, such as the Warhound Titan and the Orc vehicles and the Orc Mega Gargant, they were also working on some of the Eldar stuff. They did a Phantom Titan and a Towering Destroyer. And at the end of the Armorcast Games Workshop run, they decided to give the Bright Stallion a shot. As I was talking to the current Armorcast owner, Fritter, he told me that they had started working on a massive version of it, using the Phantom Titan bits as kind of the base for the miniature, and then sculpting around that to create the Bright Stallion. According to Collecting Citadel Miniatures, the adaptation of the Bright Stallion was made by David Hildebrandt, but unfortunately, due to the fact that Games Workshop refused to renew the license for Armorcast, the miniature was just about to be finished but never got released. And as the founder Tim Dupuerty sold off all the remaining Armorcast bits and unused items from their collection, the Bright Stallion officially disappeared. Kind of. From the information I've been able to gather, and from when I talked to Fritter, he thought that the miniatures were sold around 2008 to 2010 sometime on eBay, and sold to a collector that I don't know who it is. And then pretty much everything goes silent for a long time, but as I was doing research for this video, I managed to find a Google image that I thought looked eerily similar to that original cast made of the Bright Stallion. Doing a Google image search with this image, I managed to come to the Daka forums and a 2016 post by someone called Angie's Armies. This person mentioned that he had just picked up a massive collection featuring a bunch of different Epicast and Armorcast bits. Everything purchased second-hand in a massive lot. Scrolling down a bit on the post, we find something that seems to be the only remaining parts of the Bright Stallion miniature. Unfortunately, this one is missing its weapons. Its bright lance is shining with absence. But the main body, the head and the legs seems to be there. If it's finished and put together, I have no idea. There's no further updates on this forum page, and I don't know if it's been sold to someone else. If this miniature is still around, it is probably one of the most unique miniatures in Warhammer history, and I would freaking love to see someone like Kaha paint it with a free-handed wraithbone all over the miniature. However, it's quite likely that this miniature is sitting in someone's storage room and they've probably forgot that they own it. And these armies, if you're still around, let us know what happened to the mini, leave it in the comments down below. But thanks to the Warhammer community and the strong passion that they have, there's been a few fans out there that's used the Wraith Knight and Wraith Lords to convert their own versions of the Bright Stallion. And if you do a bit of googling, you'll be able to find probably a bunch more. So what is your opinion as a viewer? Is this the worst miniature, the most cursed miniature design in Games Workshop history? The worst idea that has ever entered Warhammer 40k, I don't know. Maybe you have ideas of better ones, if so, let me know. If you like this video, just smash like, because if you smash like, we know that you want to see more of these. A massive thanks to this week's sponsor, Squarespace. And of course, as always, our amazing patrons. Without you guys, we would not be able to make these videos. If you want to support us, Patreon is a great way. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.